Before we begin, we'd like to give special thanks to all of our sponsors for making this event possible each year. Specifically, thank you to CRL FormFox for being our title sponsor for 6 consecutive years. And thank you to our platinum sponsors, Psychmedics, OraSure Technologies, Quest Diagnostics, and Veriforce. Hello, and thank you everyone for joining us for our last session of Day with DISA. This week has been a lot of great information, and we appreciate you taking time out of your busy weeks to join us. Today's session is going to be a high-level overview of DISA's entire product suite, and we're joined today by Gary Wiese, Chief Revenue Officer at DISA Global Solutions. Gary, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Thomas. I'm looking forward to speaking with everyone.
Great. Well, before we jump into the presentation, I do want to remind everyone that if they have any questions, use the Q&A button at the bottom right of the player. If there are any questions we're unable to answer today, we'll reach back out to you after Day with DISA. Additionally, we're going to make a copy of this presentation available for download in the Materials tab at the end of this session. With that being said, Gary, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Thomas, and thanks everybody for joining Day with DISA's virtual sessions. I hope you've had a great week of learning. And really excited to have the opportunity to speak with our client base about all of the exciting things that are coming out in 2024. As Thomas said, I'm the Chief Revenue Officer here at DISA Global Solutions, and today I'm going to walk you through and give you a refresher of who we are as a broader DISA. Though many of you are clients, you probably work with us in one specific aspect, and I want to give you a broader overview of everything that DISA has to offer. We're also going to walk you through a few of the trends we've been hearing from our client base and how that's impacting the investments that we're making in our overall service offering. And then finally, we're going to walk you through some of the new and exciting offerings we're going to have in 2024. And as Thomas said, happy to answer questions at the end of the presentation. First and foremost, who are we as DISA? Many of you may know we are one of the largest providers in both the drug and alcohol testing and background screening industries, but you may not be aware that we are leading the industry as far as growth. We've had 13% industry growth. Last year alone, we conducted over 10 million background screens in over 145 countries and territories. That places us among the elite and the top of all service providers in the category. We employ about 1,200 employees around the world, and we service 30% of the Fortune 500 companies. Our client tenure is about 5.6 years with a 98% customer retention rate, and we currently service about 55,000 active customers. What that means is you're in good company. We are getting the best practices from all of those clients and applying them back to the rest of you. We're very proud of the growth that we've achieved, and that's mainly been because of our adherence to compliance, technology, and customer satisfaction. But we've really been on a journey as DISA over the last several years. We have been expanding tremendously, so there's quite a bit that has changed that you also may not be aware of. You know, if you look back in 2019, about 75% of our product mix was focused on drug and alcohol testing. Well, we have not reduced. In fact, we've increased the number of products that service that line, drug and alcohol testing. We've significantly invested in and bolstered other service offerings based on market demand, specifically in the background screening, verification, and other compliance products. Today, in 2024, only about 30% of our product mix is focused on drug and alcohol testing. The remainder is made up of all of those other compliance products, background screening, verifications, I-9, those types of services that help fill out the total candidate journey when you're trying to hire candidates or place employees on job sites. What do I mean by background check services? DISA is now one of the leading providers in pre-employment background checks, criminal history checks at the federal, state, and county level, civil searches, Social Security number validity checks, employment verifications, I-9 and E-Verify, government sanctions, personal reference verifications, adverse action notices, credit reports, professional licenses and credentials, state driving records, sex offender searches, DOT testing history, and financial due diligence. I say all of that because later we're going to be discussing a trend about consolidation. The number of vendors in the compliance space is multiplying at a rapid pace. And more of our clients are saying, we want to work with one provider who can service our candidates' employees from the beginning of the journey to the end. Additionally, in 2019, we were really focused on diversified industrials and DOT as far as the industries that we served. We still serve those to a very high degree, and many of you in this room are from those industries, and we're very proud to service those industries. Over the last several years, we've greatly expanded the industries which we serve: healthcare and life sciences, franchises, staffing, entertainment, media and sports, financial services, retail, hospitality, and high volume hiring. The reason we've been able to expand is because all of these industries have some very true commonalities. One, typically, most of these industries are regulated and they have high compliance thresholds that you have to meet to make sure that you're hiring safely and you're mitigating risk at the workplace. And two, you want fast turnaround times. You have to be able to place people quickly. Because of our service operating and our service operating and our operational efficiencies, we're able to serve these industries extremely well. We've also seen significant international growth. Again, back to 2019, the amount of international searches we did was minimal. Last year, we did screens in over 146 countries, and we speak over 14 languages across DISA. As your businesses expand beyond the domestic borders, please keep DISA in mind as your service provider when dealing with compliance, risk mitigation, and safety. And then finally, we recognize that we are one piece of the overall compliance and risk mitigation picture that you're dealing with. And in order for us to be a seamless piece, we have to have the partnerships in place that allow our technologies to talk for a seamless experience across your organization. We have made a significant push and investment and effort in partnering with everybody you see here on this screen to make sure that our systems can talk to each other and integrate efficiently. As a matter of fact, we're very excited. In the coming weeks, you will all be hearing about an announcement about a partnership we have with Workday, which we're really excited to get into the details of. Your account managers will be reaching out with all the details once that's ready to announce. Having said all of that, what's the same? A lot has remained the same, which has allowed us to continue our growth and our industry leading edge within the vertical. First and foremost, it's client care. There is a trend in this industry to either eliminate or offshore all frontline client care. DISA does not believe in that. We understand that if there's an issue or a problem, you want to be able to speak with somebody quickly. You want that person to be knowledgeable, accessible, and be able to solve your problem. That's why DISA is committing to always have local client care with informed, vertical specific individuals that can answer your questions. That's what's led us to the 98% client retention. It allows us to have designated account managers for the vast majority of our accounts to provide end-to-end client support. And all of that has led to us continuously being ranked amongst the highest in customer satisfaction. As a matter of fact, last year, according to the Baker's Dozen, we were the #1 ranked customer satisfaction for enterprise providers. We also keep a very large focus on compliance. We understand that most of you are in regulated industries, and even if you're not and you're doing background screening, there are a lot of regulations and legislation that you have to keep in mind and make sure that you're abiding by. That's why we keep all of the accreditations we need. We also keep track of all local legislation, ongoing updates to laws and jurisdictional laws. And we, more importantly, we share that with our customers on a regular basis. We do that through events like this, Day with DISA. We're sending out monthly webinars and monthly newsletters. We're giving weekly news updates and customer alerts. If you're not receiving those, talk to your account manager about how to sign up. At the end of the day, we want to be your advocate and your first line of defense and knowing if a local legislation has changed and what you need to do to adhere to that. We also take IT security extremely seriously. We live in a digital world. The type of data that we are passing back and forth with you is extremely sensitive, and we understand it needs to be protected. We recently underwent a third-party audit by Security Scorecard, and we are proud to announce that we far outperformed our peers within this industry. Outperforming our peers isn't the end goal. The end goal is to make sure that all of your data is protected, which is why we do significant investment on a regular basis to make sure we're keeping up to date with the latest technology trends and how to protect your data. All of that adds up to the main thing that has stayed the same and will continue to remain the same in the future is that we are providing you best-in-class solutions all the way through the life cycle of your candidates and employees, from pre-hire using background screening, our contractor consortium, driver qualification files, drug and alcohol testing, fingerprinting, occupational health screenings and verifications, to onboarding, doing the drug and alcohol training, processing the E-Verify, doing the I-9, and then, of course, once they're hired, the annual screening, the continuous monitoring, your random programs. DISA can live with you through that entire life cycle. We speak with our clients on a regular basis, and there are some commonalities and trends that we pull out. One of the largest is in today's hiring or employee compliance lifecycle, things are becoming more complex and lengthy. Many of you are working with multiple vendors. You have to work through multiple processes. Those processes and vendors don't talk to each other, and you're having a high administrative burden in order to do a background screen, a drug test, I-9, randoms. It's essentially becomes an administrative nightmare. The trend that we're seeing because of that is consolidation, right? Consolidation is going to cut down on the number of touches that your applicants have to have. It cuts down on the redundant data entry, no more multiple logins, reduces the number of administration and users. You don't have to train on a lot of different platforms, and you have a streamlined invoice that quite often you will pay less money if you're working with one vendor. DISA is well positioned because we are able to supply at a high level the backgrounds, random testing, verification, monitoring, drug testing, and I-9 and E-Verify, everything you need to get someone hired or placed quickly. You know, companies really want an easy button. You don't want to run a background check and a drug test. You want to hire somebody or you want to place somebody. Press that button and let us do the rest. You know, there really is a trend in this industry. There are some large background screening providers that have tried to bolt on a drug testing solution with varying to limited degrees of success. There are also some drug testing companies that have tried to bolt on a background screening solution, again, to varying limited degrees of success. The reason they haven't been successful is the way they're bolting those solutions on is by outsourcing or working with third-party partners. DISA is the only provider in the industry that we can truly and confidently say we own both sides of the house. We own the background screening. We own the drug testing. We're not outsourcing those parts, so we're able to give a higher level of quality service at a more effective price. Backgrounds, verifications, drug testing, randoms, monitoring, I-9 and E-Verify, a single source for everything you need to remain compliant. We're also challenging the status quo. We've heard some of the common pain points from our clients. First and foremost is the current cost of employment verifications. I'm sure you're aware that since 2020, the cost of an employment verification has gone up over 500%, and we are predicting that it's only going to continue to go up. One of the main drivers of these price increases is because we're really working in a closed marketplace. Right now, in the current climate, there is very limited access to be able to get the data we need to verify employers. And so we're very excited to launch our instant verification alternative, which will go around some of those legacy providers and data sources and allow us to go directly to employers, use our own data providers and different third-party partners in order to give a more quick and cheap alternative to verify employment. Again, we will be releasing more details on this product in the coming months, so stay tuned. Your account managers will be disseminating that information as it becomes available. And finally, for our clients and customers that are within the DOT regulated driver space, we have heard for years about the complexities having to go in with DOT compliance. The overwhelming response we hear on a regular basis is we want to work with one provider that can go from driver application all the way through to driver file and include monitoring, regular updates, rescreens, and keep our driver files updated. DISA is rolling out Driver Ready, which is going to revolutionize DOT compliance. No longer will you have to track each individual stage of the process. Turn the program over to DISA, and you can simply see how many drivers do I have that are ready to drive today. Of those that aren't ready to drive today, what needs to be done to make that happen? And all of that can be facilitated through the Driver Ready platform. Again, we will be demoing this and showing this in more detail in the coming months, but we're extremely excited to roll this product out, and we think it's going to be a game changer within the DOT regulatory landscape. With that, we're very excited to work with you in 2024. Please don't hesitate to approach any of the sales representatives or follow up with questions if you have them. And let me know if you have any questions right now, Thomas.
We definitely do. Thank you so much, Gary. That was great information. First question, if I add backgrounds with DISA, can I complete all of my drug background verifications, et cetera, in a single order or platform?
Absolutely. That's key in making sure that we're streamlining the service that we provide to our clients. You'll be able to attach a drug to a background screen or a background screen to a drug order, all within the same process flow.
You said you're expanding into healthcare. What's that industry mean to you?
Yeah, look, healthcare is extremely similar to some of the legacy industries that we've always served, right? High level of regulation, massive jurisdictional differences, and extreme safety concerns. We view our role at DISA as allowing quick and easy hiring, but also helping you in risk mitigation. Healthcare, look, it's always going to be expanding. They're continuously hiring. Everybody's heard of the nurse shortage. The amount of traveling nurses right now is only increasing. Locations of care are continuously increasing. And as we have an aging population, we know that healthcare is going to be a source of future growth for many, many years. And quite frankly, it's a vertical that has been vastly underserved. Right now, the average healthcare company probably has to work with 4 to 5 different vendors in order to get their needs met. Everything from credentialing to a traditional background screen to the vaccinations, the physicals, everything that's involved in hiring a healthcare professional. Why work with that many different vendors? We already have the expertise in compliance and risk mitigation, and we provide those services. It's a natural extension for DISA to further expand into healthcare.
Great. How does DISA's turnaround time compare to the larger background screening companies?
Yeah, turnaround time is always an interesting question, and I can't remember a single time I've been in a sales presentation of any type where it doesn't come up. First and foremost, we are as fast or faster than anybody within the industry. Having said that, when you talk about turnaround time, you want to focus on what do you mean by turnaround time? There are several different ways to measure it. There's 90th percentile, i.e., how long does it take for the longest candidate to process? But what I think people mean when they ask about turnaround time is how fast can I hire somebody, right? It's if I have a clear candidate and a negative result on a drug test, how quickly can that person be in a seat or be on a job site? And our goal is same day. That's always where we strive. And in many instances where we hit, and then continuously reducing the turnaround times for the more complicated cases where there might be a hit or there might be a non-negative or a negative dilute. In those instances, the fact that we own all those processes within DISA, we're not outsourcing them. Like I said, we're as fast or faster than anybody in the industry.
Okay. I have an ATS that I didn't see on that slide. Can I still use DISA?
Absolutely. So, A, that was not an exhaustive list. We wouldn't be able to list all of the partners we have on a single slide. But B, we have an integration team that's what they do. If you're using an ATS or an HRIS that we don't currently have an integration with, we will build that for you, and in many cases at no charge, depending on the complexity. Our goal is to get you up and running as quickly as possible in the most streamlined and efficient way that we can. And so that's why we have an entire team dedicated to doing that.
So if I use DISA, will I have an account manager?
Yes, like I said, we pride ourselves on our account management and our customer service. Like I said earlier in the presentation, the trend in this industry is to either eliminate or offshore all account management and customer service. DISA is not doing that. We firmly believe in the fact that you need to have an account manager. You need to have someone you can contact if there's a question, a concern, you need an order expedited. There's a plethora of reasons. So the short answer is absolutely. When you join DISA, you will have an account manager.
Give you a person to call, not a phone number to sit on hold for an hour.
That's correct. Yes.
Perfect. I know I personally would love that with some of my current companies that I work with. Um,
Absolutely.
are you is DISA SOC 2 and PBSA certified?
We are, and we maintain those on a regular basis. We go through all of the security audits necessary for SOC 2. And of course, I believe we're members on the PBSA. So that's something that we take very seriously and continue to do so. Like I said earlier, we take compliance and IT security extremely seriously. It's an area of consistent, regular investment for us. And it's something that we communicate on a regular basis as well. I couldn't see who asked that question. But if you're not signed up for our newsletters or our monthly announcements, please reach out to your account manager and do so. You'll be regularly updated on all things compliance.
You referenced reduced applicant events and data entry. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, in today's environment, if you're working with three different vendors to do a drug test, an I-9, and a background screen, your applicant is going to have to enter the same information 3 or 4 times. Um, what DISA is bringing to the table is we integrate with your HRIS or your ATS. So once you hit that easy button, i.e., you move the candidate to the next stage in the hiring process, or you move that employee to a job site, all of the necessary information that we need is transferred from the ATS. The only thing that we're going to collect are the additional data points, like a mother's maiden name or social security number that you didn't collect within your onboarding or your HRIS systems. Once that's collected, that data can be applied to all orders, whether it be a background screen, a drug test, a verification. So we only have to collect that from your candidates once. We only have to go through the consent process one time, and we can provide everything back in a streamlined fashion as well.
Can invoices be segmented by geography or office that initiated the order?
Absolutely. We have a very robust invoicing system, and we can invoice by cost center, by geography, by region, by store, by site. You tell us how you want to be invoiced, and we'll make sure that it's set up to do so.
Great. Extremely interested in the verifications product. Where can I get more information? And do you need beta companies?
Great question. So, we're really excited about this verification process as well. Again, the 500% increase over the last few years is phenomenal, and that's a cost that's passed directly on to you, and it's one that we have very little control over. So we're excited to get it rolled out, and absolutely yes. Once this is ready for prime time, we will need some beta testers. Again, I can't see who asked the questions. But Thomas, maybe we can reach out to that company and have their account manager secure their information, because the short answer is yes, we will need beta testers. If you're interested in doing that, certainly reach out to your account manager and let them know, and we will put you on the list to be one of the first adopters in trying out this new technology.
Absolutely. Gary, does Driver Ready have a single interface, or are we still having to order everything separately?
Great question. To refresh everybody, Driver Ready is our answer to the DOT compliance problem. right? If you think about the driver application, the employment verifications, the physical, the drug and alcohol testing, the random, the MVR, everything that has to happen in order for a driver to be able to sit in the seat and drive a regulated vehicle. In healthcare, I mentioned there are 4 to 5 vendors. I think on average, most DOT companies are working with upwards of 7 vendors to be able to do everything that is necessary to get a driver in the seat. We are streamlining that with Driver Ready. So yes, it is a single user interface that is going to move away from steps in the process and more towards I want to have my drivers ready and know which ones can drive today, tomorrow, the day after, and be able to action the ones that have some kind of compliance gap immediately. So the short answer is yes, it is all a single interface.
Great. And if someone wants more information about that or any of the other products or services they heard today, what's the best course of action?
Sure. So reach out to your account manager. They'll be your first point of contact. If you happen to be at our live event tomorrow at the House of Blues, certainly approach me. I'm happy to speak with you about that. But your account manager will have all of that information, and we're happy to get that started for you.
Gary, and for people that aren't current customers, how would they get more information?
Yeah, there's multiple ways. First, if you're on this webinar and you want more information, feel free to drop your information in the chat and we can reach back out to you. Alternatively, if you're going to be at our live event tomorrow at the House of Blues, you feel free to approach me or any of the other sales individuals we'll have in attendance. But most likely, you can just go to www.disa.com and click on Contact Us, and there's a form that you can fill out, and then an applicable representative will get back to you. Essentially, we want to make it really easy for you. We have several ways that you can get in touch with us. Either live or the website is going to be your best option in the short term.
Great. Well, hey, Gary, thank you again so much for spending some time with us. And as our last session, we won't see you tomorrow unless you're coming to our event at the House of Blues in downtown Houston for our keynotes and networking event. But we thank you for spending time with us today, Gary.
Thanks, everybody, for joining. We truly appreciate our clients and partners, and we will look forward to a successful 2024.
Thank you, everyone, for attending. And again, we'll have recordings of all these sessions out to you as quickly as possible next week. Have a great one. Bye-bye.